Greetings, fellow gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're talking about Demonic, the latest Neill Blomkamp movie that came out last year, and I haven't heard any good things about leading up to watching the movies, but at the same time, I hadn't heard good things about Elysium or Chappie either, and I love those movies.
Yeah,
so
I love Chappie a lot.
So I went into this movie going like, well, it could be bad, but at the same time, I liked his last two movies, and no one else seemed to, so let's see how this goes.
Yeah, so maybe it's our cup of tea.
Maybe. It's a mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag.
It's an unfortunate mixed bag. The good things about the movie. So this movie deals with a woman whose mom was a psychotic, serial killer who burned a bunch of people alive. And she's in this weird coma, basically. She's in a coma.
Yeah.
And there's these researchers that want her to come in and go into this, weird cyber state with her, virtual reality.
Like a virtual reality that they've created.
In order to talk to her and shit. And it's very cyberpunky, it's like, let's go into her mindscape and talk to her and see what we could do for research purposes or whatever. But the twist is that the mom is possessed by some sort of demon thing. That's not a spoiler. That's the movie. That's the premise of the movie. So hence demonic. And so now, the daughter now has to deal with that demonic presence trying to go after her now after all this psychic linking and shit.
Yeah.
Mental linking. And that's the movie. And that stuff is really cool. I kind of like this whole, we're going to go into this Scanner Darkleaf looking ass world.
Yeah. But the big problem with that Scanner ass Darkleaf aspect is that it doesn't mean anything.
That's true. It's just kind of there.
Yeah. You're just sort of like, this is just an excuse for the plot.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what I mean, usually when you got something this weird, they somehow manage to work it in.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see how this kind of fits together. Here, that doesn't happen at all.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because, in the last act, it just kind of becomes a demonic possession movie, and that element of the movie gets really lost.
Yeah, it feels like this would have been really cool if they had at least been in the cyberpunk future or something. Yeah. And it's just in the cyberpunk future
we gotta deal with cyber demons.
Yeah. Some shit like that. And it'd been all right. Or if they had a setting like Shadowrun or Bright did, this also would have worked. Mm-hmm. But as it is, it's just a conceit of the movie that doesn't really add anything.
Yeah, unfortunately not. No, it doesn't. It's just kind of there. And when it becomes just a demonic possession movie by the end, you're sitting there going did we need to go this weird cyberpunk route to get here?
Did we? What was the
If this is just where we're going to end up, why add all these weird elements leading up to it? It just it didn't feel like it added anything other than oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It was oh, that's kind of neat.
This movie also has a couple other big problems. The first being there's a point really early on in the movie where they introduce a friend character that basically just explains everything that's going on in the movie. And once he explains everything, the rest of the movie feels utterly pointless.
Yeah.
Because they've already told us everything, when the movie feels like it's revealing shit, it's not actually revealing shit.
Yeah,
we already know.
Because it's you mean everything is just like that guy said?
Yeah. I'll be able to talk more about it when we get to the spoilers, but it really drained a lot of the tension out of the movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's a movie that feels like it had, one of those studio notes that people are going to get lost, so explain everything right here. But that explanation now removes the tension from the rest of the movie, because the rest of the movie is a character figuring things out, but it feels kind of pointless to watch her figure out what we already know because the guy already told her.
Everything's explained. The main conceit of the plot is explained twice.
It also makes
the main character.
It also makes the main character even more frustrating because she's had it all explained to her, but then she acts really dumb about it.
There's a lot of that. And it just kind of makes you go, I don't know why she's doing this.
No.
Shouldn't she already know better, given the fact that we, the audience, have already been told everything?
Not just we, she was already told.
Yeah. Like,
it was told to her. Like, so we know.
Yeah.
And she knows.
Yeah. And also, it didn't... this is another really frustrating thing where she takes a lot of actions that don't make sense, except that it's in the script.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
This is a very weak script.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. Here's the thing. First half of the movie, like, it builds up really well, and you're like, okay, this is going to be great.
Yeah. I really like that first half.
Yeah, first half of the movie is really good. And you get to the second half where all the payoff happens, and you're just like,
wow,
that's it?
Yeah. That's kind of falling apart.
This is like, I don't know what to say other than, like, man, Neill Blomkamp is better than this. What the hell happened?
I would agree. I know a lot of other people wouldn't agree, but I would agree. Like, I like his other 3 movies.
Yeah.
This one's just kind of like, meh.
Well, like, I wouldn't say that, like, whether or not, up until this point, what I would have said was that, well, Elysium's your least movie. You're doing really good.
Agreed.
You know? But now, this is the least one now.
Oh, yeah. This is 100% the least one. I do like the fucking bird demon in this.
Yeah.
It's like this crow demon. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah. It was, the monster looks great.
Yeah.
You know?
I love the monster. Every time it's on screen, I'm like, oh man, this is cool. Even at the end of the movie, when the movie's starting to fall apart, the bird demon's still fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. This is one of those movies that, like, feels like they make really awesome clips to, like, heavy metal videos and shit.
Yeah, especially all the clips of, like, the bird demon. Especially when she's got, like, the night vision goggles and you're seeing the bird demon, like, through night vision.
Yeah, like, that was kind of cool. Like, you see the demon coming out of the body and shit. That was kind of cool.
Even though her getting the night vision goggles felt like a scene in, like, a horror survival video game. Like,
totally.
You have acquired the night vision goggles.
Yeah. Why does this happen? Shut up.
Yeah, whatever.
No one
She's
knows.
got night vision goggles now.
Yeah.
I do feel like they drain a lot of tension out of the demon towards the end of the movie, because up until the end of the movie, the demon is this entity that starts appearing in dreams and takes the forms of people. But then at the end of the movie, when it starts actually possessing people, it just straight up talks. And the movie starts to come across way goofier than it had up until that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, why is the demon explaining itself?
It's just like, I feel like if you had gone full Sam Raimi, this might have worked, but...
Oh, no, totally. Like, if it had just all of a sudden at the end turned into Evil Dead 2, and it'd been fine.
Exactly. That's what I was hoping it was going to go a little bit more buck wild, but then it has a lot of, like, cool things happen off screen that we don't get to see, and I'm like, that's lame. I understand this is probably a budgetary restriction, but don't promise us cool and then not give us the cool.
Yeah. Like, I would have Alan Smithied this.
Oh.
You know, like, that's what I feel so bad is, like, I love everything else that Neill Blomkamp did.
It's like him trying to do a Blumhouse style movie, but it's getting in the way of his normal stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like the normal stuff is why you would want to watch Neill Blomkamp flick.
Yeah, because the coolest stuff is that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how to say it other than it feels like at some point this was actually set in the cyberpunk future. And it was like, the idea was like, even in the fucking future, man, this could be demonic possession, dude.
Maybe, I don't know.
You know, but that because of budgetary reasons, they were just like, well, we can't afford to do Blade Runner. So.
Maybe, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Like
a lot of this
remember, what's that thing called? What's that movie called? It was called Daybreakers. The cyberpunk future that was ruled by vampires.
Yeah.
Had Willem Dafoe in it.
It was
Daybreakers. Yeah. It's like, I could see why you'd be like, that's a lot of money to fucking throw away on this concept, but
it feels like the kind of movie that had a lot of really cool ideas, but like had to restrict it to a budgetary thing. And and unfortunately, that means that like not a lot of things shine through, and it doesn't really deliver on its promises. Unfortunately, which is really a shame.
Well, I'm also like annoyed. Like when you mentioned the fact that the demon starts talking, I found myself going like, yeah, why is it so hard to learn the lesson that The Exorcist taught everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Which is, don't just tell people why they're doing this. You know, it's sort of like, why do demons do this? Well, we actually kind of don't know.
Yeah.
We don't really understand it, you know? Like,
well, it starts to feel like when the demon starts talking, I don't know how else to put it, he started to sound like fucking Horace Pinker from Shocker.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I love Shocker, don't get me wrong, but I like that movie as kind of like a low-key comedy.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Yeah.
And this movie was so super serious up until that point. And then the demon starts talking, and I'm like, oh my god, it sounds like Horace Pinker.
Yeah. It feels really out of place.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's the first time we've seen the demon do anything like that up until that point. So it felt a little, like, out of nowhere.
Yeah, because before it was all, like...
There's the one scene at the beginning, or not the beginning, more like halfway through, where she has the dream of her friend.
Yeah.
Where the demon's speaking through the friend, but... For some reason, that felt different the way that was executed than the way it does at the end.
Well, yeah, because, like, at the end, you find yourself going, wait a minute, since you've explained so much of what's going on already, why do you need this person specifically?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like if it's mysterious, you could just go, well, we don't know.
Yeah. Like, personally, I would write the best friend, the male friend character that explains everything out of the movie entirely.
Oh, I totally would have.
Because I think that he drains so much tension out of the movie, personally.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
You can keep the other friend, the friend that's not in the know. But the friend that explains everything to her, man, that character kind of ruins so much of this movie.
Well, yeah, because if he feels like the character that normally would have been the friend that they all knew who died.
Yeah. Like, without getting into spoilers, you have a character that basically says, here's what's going on, here's why these people are here, here's what they're trying to do, here's what they're gonna do. Bam. Just explains it all out. Like, first, 30 minutes of the movie, sits down and explains it all out. Then when you get to the end of the movie, at the very end, when everything's coming together and all the stuff is going down, she's just like, we gotta go in there and we gotta figure out what they're doing. And you're like, he told you. The guy sitting next to you literally told you everything they're doing in that room, 30 minutes ago in this movie. Yeah. You know what they're doing.
Yeah, you know what's going on in there. Some fucking exorcist shit is happening.
You know, and you also know that it's not a thing you should stop. So,
so just let these people do their job.
Yeah, and it's one of those, the her wanting to run and stop things would make more sense had she not been told what was going on.
Yeah.
If she didn't know, and she didn't know who was good, who was bad, or whatever, then all her actions would make sense.
Yeah, but by the time that moment comes, you know everyone's motivation.
Exactly. And she knows.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more aggravating to watch her do, like the thing that would make more sense if she didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know why it was done this way. It was a bad choice.
It was a really bad choice. So yeah, Demonic, it's currently available on various streaming platforms. There's no dead animals or anything like that. There's no sexual assault or anything like that. You don't have to worry about that. There's a lot of suicidal imagery in it because we're dealing with demons and possessions and shit.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, but honestly, I don't think any of it would really trigger anyone, to be honest. It's very minor.
Yeah. It would if it does, it would be a very specific case.
Yeah, exactly. Bird thing's cool, plot falls apart, script bad. Script real bad.
Yep.
And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, let's move on to the spoilers.
Can we spoil this movie any worse than it ruins itself?
Well, I mean, you don't know going into the movie that there's a cool fucking Black Ops squad of
priests, fucking priests,
of exorcist priests with fucking SWAT gear.
Yeah.
So the character ends up revealing the best friend who shows up, not the best friend, but one of the best friends shows up and it's just I've been studying this thing since we were kids because I used to have these nightmares that explained everything, which was just I still don't understand why this character was getting nightmares about all this stuff. Was he supposed to be psychic or something? What's going on? But this character is just and so it's an order of priests that have decided to use technology, and they're basically the Black Ops of priests, and they use technology in order to hunt out demons, and they take the demon and the person who's possessing the demon to the location where the demon came out, the gateway to hell, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they close the gateway, and they save the person who was possessed.
Yeah.
He lays this all out. That's what they're doing. That's what the whole mind melding thing is. They're trying to figure out where the demon came out from.
Yeah.
So they're trying to go through her mind to figure out that location. That's the whole purpose of this whole thing. And so you get to the end of the movie where where it's like showing you these cool cutting to the priests as they gear up and stuff. And how much cooler would it be if you didn't know they were SWAT priests and it like cuts back to them and they're putting on the SWAT gear and you're like, what the fuck
is even happening?
Like, how much cooler would that have been to not know that? And we get to the end of the movie and like, okay, they took her mom into that sanitarium, which is apparently where the gateway to hell is, where the demon came out. And she's just like, we got to go in there and stop them. And you're like, what? They're gonna exorcise the demon and free and close the gateway. That's a good thing. Why are you
gonna fuck with them?
It's just like, well, I don't know what they're gonna do. And it's just like, well, he told you exactly what they're gonna do early on. And he's been right so far. Like,
yeah. Plus, you've got this second injured friend at this point that maybe you should be getting to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, why wouldn't that be the priority?
And then to make that worse, that's like, okay, here's the cool fucking like Black Ops priest. I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. We're gonna get this awesome fucking finale, just like Chappie or just like his other movies, where we're gonna see this like SWAT techno priests versus this fucking like demon entity or something.
Yeah. Some ridiculous shit's gonna happen.
Nope, happens off screen.
Yeah.
She arrives, the SWAT's already been decimated, and then they hand her like the spear that pierced Jesus, and it's just like, this is the only thing that can kill the demon.
Right.
And then,
oh god, which leads to another of the most infuriating
parts
of the
where she decides that the more important thing than stopping the demon is to contact her mom in the cyberspace so that she can say goodbye to her mom, because up until this point she hated her mom, but then she found out her mom was possessed, and so now she loves her mom. And so she goes into the cyberspace and does that, and then leaves her friend with a shotgun to deal with the demon.
Yeah.
Instead of giving him the fucking spear.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that can kill a demon.
Yeah, I know. Like, if a guy, look, the guy may be wrong when he says this is the only thing that can kill the demon. But once I've gotten to that point where I've had to accept SWAT priests and virtual reality demons, if a guy says this is the only thing that can, I'm going to trust that.
You know, and then
I'm going to trust that.
And then the demon possesses the head of the SWAT priests and starts talking like he's fucking Horace Pinker, like he's a slasher killer taunting things. And you're just like, wow, this is a tone shift.
Yeah. Yeah, this is weird. And I don't understand why he was doing that.
Well, that was another thing that annoyed me, was that up until that point, they had kind of treated that character like he was a little shady. And so I thought the reveal was going to be that he killed his own squad, because at the end of the day, he's actually a worshiper of the demon.
Yeah.
Like, I thought he was going to be a demonic worshiper, but instead it's just like, no, the squad just sucked and failed at this, at their job apparently. And he got himself possessed, even though he has a fucking cross burned into his back. So I don't know how that's supposed to work.
Yeah,
this movie really falls apart in the last act, and it's really a shame because it set up what could have been a really cool finale, and would have been even cooler if we didn't know exactly what was going on before we went into it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a movie that has a bad case of the explainies early on, and then even with the explainies, it doesn't deliver on that.
Yeah, correct. Like, I was kind of looking forward to a lot of, for lack of a better way of putting it, ridiculous gamer shit.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh man, it's like, okay, dudes, we got bullets, but they're bullets that have been forged from the cross of the 9 Inch Nails that put up Jesus. Why set up these cool ass fucking techno priests only to have that mean nothing at the end of the movie? Why set up this whole virtual reality setup if at the end of the movie the culmination of that is literally just her saying goodbye to her mom, coming out of the reality, and then fucking like having to fight the fucking demon by stabbing it with the thing? Because it's not even like,
I thought we were gonna have like a cool like cyber fight or something. You know?
Cyber fight, or at least one of those you gotta go in the simulation because like, you know, demons, they fucking, you can only kill them with a true name. And but they can't help it. They always leave the true name somewhere in the mind of the possessed.
Or maybe even something cool, like going into that weird simulation that she goes to hell or something.
Something that just brought it together. It just didn't happen.
No, it's just unfortunate.
It was funny because I was like, wait, what is it? Because we watched this because I was like, wait, wasn't there a Neill Blomkamp horror movie? That was supposed to come out? Did that come out? And we found out it did and was like, wonder why we never heard anything about it. Well, now we know.
Well, I heard things about it. I just only heard negative things.
Oh, okay.
But like, I didn't know how to take it because, again, I only heard negative things about Elysium and Chappie, and I love those movies. So I wasn't sure how to take the negative feedback.
Fair. Yeah, very fair. You know, it's like Neill Blomkamp somehow became a very divisive director. And which is weird to me.
Well, it's not like the other movies don't have flaws. They're not like as great as the masterpiece that is District 9.
Well, but
they're not bad movies.
They're not bad movies at all. You know? Yeah, it's like not being District 9 is about the worst thing that you could say about the others.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, this one, however, was one of those. I feel like I'm like, is Neill Blomkamp now a broken man?
I don't know. I do feel like after watching this that if at all possible, he should probably stick to his sci-fi movies more so than the horror, because this did not come together very well.
No.
You know?
No.
Of that, or make his horror movies more sci-fi.
Oh yeah.
Like it felt like he started off making this really sci-fi, and then by the end of it, it's like the sci-fi element doesn't mean anything. It doesn't add anything.
Yeah. Like you could you find yourself going like, Neill Blomkamp's probably got like a hardware in him. Yeah. You know,
this is basically like, hey, we're gonna psychically link you two with magic, but with sci-fi
shit. Yeah.
And none of it like I don't know. I just feel like the sci-fi element should have meant more at the end. You know.
Well, it's like there's definitely like with a goofy premise like that, you're kind of expecting like, well, at least give me evil speak, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Nice. So yeah, my fellow gorehounds, I don't know what else to say.
There really isn't much.
It's not a really good movie, and it's unfortunate because I like Neill Blomkamp and I want him to succeed. But this movie, not for me.
It didn't. This one didn't do it.
And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, where can they find you, Camp Jackula?
Well, you can find me. I stream now on YouTube every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but I also stream other times during the week, but it's a little bit random right now. So if you want to be notified when I'm live, you probably want to follow my Twitter at CountingJack. And if you don't want to follow me there, you can follow me on Instagram at Satanic Jackula. What about you?
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, and Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out our channels more directly, then be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way.
Oh, does it?
Absolutely.
Oh, does it?
And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, if you made it this far into the vlog, then I want you to put hashtag CrowDemon. Hashtag CrowDemon. If you made it this far into the vlog, then comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag CrowDemon. That way I know, that way Jack knows, that way the whole world knows you watched this vlog all the way through. And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, that's all we got to say. So, peace out.